So recently, I got a comment on my Instagram that made me feel a little bit insecure about my character designs. Or rather, my designs for women specifically. It was under this reel of my OC Cecilia showing us her very normal hobby. The commenter wrote this: "Sigh, TBH, I'm so sick of this on every woman OC," which I assume is talking about her gigantic eyes and her hourglass figure. And to be honest, I have also noticed that I currently have a trend of all my women OCs having big chests and an hourglass shape. So today I'm gonna talk a bit about if I think drawing women like this is an issue for OCs in general and also for characters in popular media, like Dispatch and Marvel Rivals. Disclaimer, I'm not a woman nor do I have the lived experiences of women, so if you guys have anything to add or disagree on, please do let me know, just don't be mean please. Why could this be an issue? Well, if you've been on the internet, you have heard of women being sensualized left and right no matter what they do. Recent example, Grok, aka the Gen AI tool on X, EO, letting random users put women into bikinis or other more revealing outfits, and then men pretending it's okay because haha, you can put me in a bikini too. It's literally not that hard to understand consent, guys. So I totally understand where the person who left this comment was coming from, given the influence of the patriarchy on all of our lives. Especially in industries like Hollywood or modeling, conventionally attractive, aka mostly thin, pale and youthful, women have been presented to us a billion bajillion times for decades while being abused behind the scenes. The beauty industry has been preying on women's insecurities ever since they noticed it would drive up their profits like crazy. And ultimately, all of these factors do influence artists making OCs. As a teen, I mostly had thin, pale-skinned OCs because that's what I was used to. Don't ask me why I had like 50 femboy OCs though, I literally don't know why that was a thing. I high-key need to bring some of them back, not gonna lie. But as I get older, my OCs are getting more and more diverse since I learned to appreciate the uniqueness of different people, aesthetics and style. But with the current cast of women I have, yeah, the big chest hourglass allegations do ring true. Let's talk about my women OCs for a second. Currently I only have 7 total OCs that I actually draw, and 3 of them are women, but hopefully there will be more in the future. I have a habit of never designing new OCs, even when they already exist in the lore. Let me explain how their design process went. Dusa is a calm and stoic woman, with a strategical mind which ends up making her the leader of my original universe's rebellion against the oppressive system. However, that wasn't always her lore. She was actually originally a gender-bent version of her now twin Deus, meaning she used to have the exact same fashion sense and personality as him. And yeah, let's just say he likes to show off his assets a lot. There's more to it, but for the sake of keeping this video short, you can find out more about both of them and Dusa's evolution as a character in this video. This is the reason I put her in a very revealing outfit at first, and then later gave her an outfit that is more practical for when she is leading the rebellion. Also note that she is wearing a corset in the first outfit, so her actual body shape is not as extreme. Then we have Do, who has earned me multiple great comments before. Definitely woman created by a man. This guy is probably just pouring out his unsatisfied lust on ugly pictures. Which is really funny because Do is based on my actual girlfriend and she has her exact body type. If you ever wondered if Leo looks more like her model or more like Do, it's definitely Do. So yeah, Do is kind of a Leo Sona I made for my own universe to hold hands with my Sona who is this guy. Though they are both pretty different from us personality wise. And then we have the most recent offender, Cecilia. Or as we like to call her, Fafififa, because Leo couldn't pronounce her name correctly for a while. As for who Facilia is, she's a very influential demon lady who pretends to be elegant and kind, but is actually a very different kind of messed up. Her demon powers are some minor shapeshifting abilities which she uses to enhance her looks or change colors. I originally got that idea because during the design stage I tried out different color schemes on her, but I couldn't decide on one. But yeah, if you were wondering if her assets are natural or not, it's an yes? Is it natural if you have the power to shape your own body? I don't know. Her body is supposed to look exaggerated. She's supposed to be the woman of extraordinary beauty you see on the magazine covers that sells you products to look like her, except she never used the products in the first place. The woman who, despite being on the big ad signs, still thinks she's not perfect enough yet, so she keeps pushing her looks further, millimeter by millimeter. And that's not nearly all there is to her, but it's all that's relevant for this video. I should make a Facilia video soon, huh? But yeah, that's why she looks like this. Literally magic. By the way, if you guys enjoy my art style and would like me to draw your OCs, fandom characters or ships, my commissions will be open around the release of this video. I take commissions over Artistry or VGen, but note that my commissions are cheaper on Artistry due to taxing differences. AKA you end up paying more on VGen, but I don't actually get all of that money. I have lots of different options for different price points, like surprise me commissions, where you give me a character and the rest is up to me, so it's a little bit cheaper. Cell shaded comms, which costs a bit more, to full on splash art, which I will use 120% of my brain power for, so they look as epic as possible. There's also custom inquiries in case you want something else, as well as spicy comms for the freaks of course. But depending on when you see this, my commissions could be closed again, so if you'd like to be notified the next time they open, join my Discord and select the commission tag. That way you will be among the first to know about it. Now, back to the video. So, is it problematic to design or draw conventionally attractive hourglass women over and over? The TLDR is kind of, but not really. I think it's a bit odd that people so far have only criticized my women OCs, specifically when the two OCs who I draw the most, overall, are both Dorito-shaped guys with like -5% body fat. And now if you say, but they don't wear revealing outfits, my dude, I have been drawing Deus half naked for literally 7 years at this point, and I promise you, there will be more half naked mask OCs in the future. Now that is true gender equality. Facilia's body type is probably the least achievable of my OCs though, unless you consider Dr. Darcy, who replaced their whole torso with a computer system. That's probably physically impossible, but even if I only drew busty women in revealing outfits, I would still argue that's valid. So let's talk about what I think the actual problem is, the actual issue. I feel like the actual issue here isn't if you draw women conventionally attractive or unrealistic, but more the societal frame we're in. As I already talked about, we live in a patriarchal framework where women are pushed to be beautiful in the eyes of most men, to be viewed as something to use or own or fantasize about. I recently heard that there was a study that more attractive women earn more money or are more likely to get a callback after a job interview, which is insane. Just to name one instance. So if you draw an hourglass 10 out of 10 conventionally attractive woman, or that's most of what you draw, I can understand why that's upsetting to some people. It gives off the vibe that the artist only finds these types of women beautiful, or that their beauty is all that matters to them, just like these misogynistic men, which may absolutely not be true for the artists. Not to mention that a lot of these artists are women or genderqueer people who have been faced with this sort of discrimination themselves. I would say my OCs are generally conventionally attractive, but I literally could not care less how people look like in real life. I just want people to look like whatever makes them comfortable, and I have no say over that. But I can get if you look at the women OCs I currently have and think, that's not realistic. And I agree. For most people, these bodies are probably not realistic. I also never set out to represent reality in my art, otherwise I would probably do photography instead. But back to the framework point. I think that if we lived in a society where everyone was equal regardless of gender, sexuality, skin color, or whatever the hell, it would be much more acceptable to draw whatever types of characters you want. If women didn't get pressured to look a certain way, hourglass big-chested OCs would just be OCs and not a statement about how you view real women. So in my opinion, instead of writing mean comments about people's OCs, we should use our energy to treat people well and fight for a more equal society. I talked to my artist friends about this and they agreed that mean comments about their designs led them to feel afraid to draw women OCs or to represent OCs that have a different body type or ethnic background than them. So if you comment on an artist's design, even if you are coming from a good place and want to see better representation, doing it in this mean-spirited or brash way could do the exact opposite. Instead of commenting, I'm sick of characters looking like this, you could say, I love your art style and I would love to see how you draw XYZ. Other body types, for example. Now, if an artist is being straight up misogynistic, like commenting on someone else's art that their women are ugly because they don't fit the beauty standards, that's when you can go ahead and bunk them. If that's not the case, still let artists know if they represented a harmful stereotype. It has definitely happened to me before and I'm grateful when people tell me without immediately assuming that I mean harm to anyone. Sometimes you simply don't know about something, or you don't know how important or impactful it can be to someone else. Should we police how people design women? Personally, I think policing what subject matter people should draw is a really slippery slope that leads to everyone hating each other and censorship. I think what's much more important than what you draw is how you treat real people. E, who's a fellow content creator, actually made a really expensive video on how people want to be seen as moral, but then that leads to them not actually being nice people, which we've seen a lot in online fandom spaces. So if you have an hour to watch that one, I would highly recommend it. Great and educational background noise for sure. Now back to my point. If you only draw conventionally attractive women because that's what you like to draw, that's fair game to me as long as you don't go to actual women and make rude comments about their bodies. Would I think your art could be more interesting if you drew other kinds of characters as well? Yes. Do I have any say on what you should draw? No, it's your art, not mine. I also think it's much more important to criticize these things when they come from big media rather than OC artists, because those media have the power to normalize certain looks or to lead to those looks being dismissed as ugly, unfeminine, evil, or whatever BS they come up with. For example, people are pointing out how boring and repetitive women in games like Dispatch or Marvel Rivals look. The women in Dispatch all look almost exactly the same body type wise. It looks like the only difference between them is height and some are slightly more beefy, while the men go from huge boulder to wing, which is sadly something we've been seeing from fictional media a lot. I would say Marvel Rivals is a little bit better about this, but in my opinion they're not great either. Personally, I think Emma Frost looks cool as hell, but when every skin is her half naked and the other women also mostly look the same and all wear revealing outfits, it does make me feel like they left a lot of potential on the floor. As I was scrolling through the character list, I initially thought this raccoon was a woman, which I would have loved, but no, it's a dude, because women of course cannot be crazy trash can creatures. And then somehow despite this, there's a shocking amount of people out there who are so chronically online they think Emma Frost doesn't look feminine enough. Which is funny to me, because one thing I really love about Marvel Rivals is the way they stylize the faces. She actually looks like a middle-aged woman, not an ambiguously aged anime girl. I'm assuming the people who think Emma Frost isn't feminine enough only consume anime gacha games, which are heavily stylized to look more smooth and cuter than real faces, so they forget that most women do not look like that. Did you know my eyeballs are not this big in real life? Also, I just want to note that the character designs for the women in games, like Dispatch or Marvel Rivals, isn't necessarily the artist's fault either. It could very well be a top-down thing where the higher-ups decide they want more conventionally attractive women because, quote-unquote, that's what sells. So absolutely no hate to the character designers. Conclusion time! So my opinion on this whole thing is, you draw what makes you happy and don't be a jerk to other people. Similarly, if you want to point out harmful stereotypes, try to be nice about it and most people will be more understanding towards you. I also have to say that the assumption these types of women OCs only get made by and for men is so wrong. There's so many women and genderqueer artists drawing adult content, including big busty women, which is enjoyed by other women and genderqueer people as well. Actually, I've gotten way more comments from people asking if Basilia is for the girls than comments being upset by her. And also people worrying for her back, which is understandable. It just gets old after the 500th time. In general, the feedback I've gotten about my Women OCs was either simping or positive, so the comments I called out earlier are a tiny minority of people. And funnily enough, I have actually gotten the most comments simping about my fully clothed Aero Ace villain OC in a reel where he's literally murdering someone. So yeah, definitely consider checking out my other OC videos if you're interested in their lore and design process. I'm gonna be posting a lot more OC and art content soon, so subscribe if you'd like to see that and check out my socials. Thank you guys for watching, special thanks to my Patreons. Will out.